Hello my friends, and welcome back to a blind let's play of Ever 17, the Out of Infinity for the PC. My name is FlightlessBird, this is Story-Based Gaming Channel, and today, continuing the Coco route. If you're wondering, I said this before, but if you're wondering about the Somnium Files, the Nirvana Initiative, the sequel to the original game, we will be playing that after we conclude Ever 17. So don't worry, we're not going to take a pause, we're going to finish one game before starting another. And that's just the way we roll here on your story-based gaming channel. Hope you're all having a wonderful, fantastic day today. It was dark inside the room, and I could barely see anything. Still, I heard the breathing of 3 sleeping people. Although I couldn't see any of them, I could tell who was sleeping where. The injured Tsugumi was sleeping on the bed in the end of the room. The kid was sleeping on the examination table. Coco was using the bed in the middle, which meant I would be sleeping in the decompression chamber under the infirmary. About 90 minutes earlier, I had actually been sleeping there before Coco shoved hydrogen peroxide up my nose. You, it seemed, had lined up some chairs in the conference room and gone to sleep on them. Okay then. I headed toward the lift in the back of the room. I stopped briefly to check in on Coco. I went up to the bed in the middle of the room. Although she had been so excited a little while earlier, Coco seemed to be in a deep sleep already. I suppose she's exhausted from all that playing. Coco rolled over and scratched her cheek with her fingers. Her blanket had slightly fallen off of her. Fixing her covers, I touched her hair gently. Coco murmured softly in her sleep. Papa. Daddy. I didn't know which dad she was referring to, but I couldn't help smiling. Papa. Papa. Oni-chan. What? Samuyo. I'm so cold. Please, let me out of here. Help me. Help me. Oh, I don't like seeing her hurt. Where is this? Is this in the bed, or is this when she's in the... the pod in Himmel? Oni-chan. Okay, well, we're back to kids dimension. I don't know if we should call it dimension or universe. Oni-chan. What is this, Sarah? It had been over 12 hours since Sarah started calling me Oni-chan. The swelling of Sarah's eyelids had just started to fade, but her eyes still watered. About 12 hours before, Sora had told us the truth. Ever since seeing the hologram of the cosmic realm, I had kinda sensed it. Sarah was my sister. Maybe I had already known it when I saved Sarah from the elevator. Maybe I had just pretended not to realize when in fact I really had. It was strange, but I didn't quite understand the details of my own mental state. Because it almost felt like the person who had caused me to pretend was a me that wasn't really me. If that made sense. Yeah, I knew I had to find out the truth from the moment I'd seen the pendant in the cosmic realm. Especially after I noticed a missing piece. I could tell Sarah felt the same way. I didn't know from exactly what point she started wondering if I was her brother. Looking back on it, there were many times she might have hinted at it. But all those moments had seemed to me like she was half joking. The moment that everything came together was when I saw the image in the hologram. Because I had been able to see something that nobody else could. But still, both Sarah and I weren't certain when we had been in the cosmic realm. We needed definitive proof. That was why we went to visit Sora even though it was late at night. To have her surgically remove the fragment from my thumb. Since Sora wasn't able to perform the actual operation, we decided to wake up you. At first, you had no idea what we were talking about, but as soon as she understood the situation, she willingly agreed to help. As you expected, the piece removed from my thumb had matched the missing part in the pendant exactly. What was more, when we exposed the peers to infrared light, or peace, an image of the same man in the pennant came up. According to Sora, unlike a regular picture, a hologram shows a whole image in a part. For a picture, it would be impossible to see the whole image with just one piece of it. But with a hologram, it was possible to generate the whole image even from a tiny piece. That was one of the special properties of a hologram. To explain a little bit about infrared vision, or infravision, usually the visible range for humans was limited to light with a wavelength of between 380 to 780 nanometers. Light with a wavelength longer than that was called infrared. Normally humans couldn't see light in that range. If you were able to see infrared, you would be able to sense the temperature of an object without actually touching it. And with that ability, you could also see in complete darkness, even without any light. Infrared rays were emitted from all objects that had temperature. Stronger light was emitted from warmer objects and weaker light from colder objects. By sensing those things, you could tell the location and shape of an object in the darkness. Surprisingly, Sarah and I were told that we had the ability called infrared vision. Since we had that ability naturally, it was difficult for us to imagine not being able to sense the temperature or to imagine complete darkness. But I realized something then. That was why I had noticed heat emanating from the generator room door, and that was why I had mistaken the light from the inverter unit for moonlight. That was why Sarah and I were able to see the 3D image in the pennant that nobody else could see. Why did we have that ability? I had no idea. Sora explained to us that it was a special ability passed on genetically. Genetics. That also meant it was highly possible that Sarah and I had the same parents. That was when it became almost certain that Sarah and I were brother and sister, but still, something seemed to be missing. We took a DNA test with a repaired LMRI. The results showed that Sarah and I were blood relatives with a almost 100% certainty. That had proven everything. And when that happened, memories of my childhood started to flood back. They rocked me like an explosion. All of the memories that had been dammed up flooded out at once, the bombardment rendering me unconscious again. When I regained consciousness, Sarah was next to me. Sarah, my one and only sister. We were fraternal twins. I recalled the bittersweet memories of the days we had spent together. Yeah? Yes, Sarah? We hadn't slept at all since the day before. We had spent a long half day talking about all sorts of things. The memories of our childhood. Then our time at the hospital as well, of course. How I hadn't kept my promise, and I couldn't keep my promise. I had sworn to her that I would come to get her. Sarah and I took a long time going over and understanding all the details. There was too much to talk about. A half day was hardly enough to restore the missing time. But Sarah and I didn't need many words anymore. Oni-chan, yes, Sarah. With just those words, we could understand each other. Sarah put her head on my shoulder and closed her eyes gently. I sang her favorite lullaby. Moon Sprite, shouldering a long bow, waiting inside a dream. Tonight, a story by moonlight, hoping the wait will be short. Sleeping, curled and snug, sleeping in mother's arms. Wait, that's Coco now singing this song. Yeah, again, I don't wanna have to voice over such a beautiful song.
Coco, お歌上手
You've got a great voice, Coco.
上手でしょ上手でしょ
Don't I? Don't I?
その歌初めて聞いたけど子守歌かなんか
I've never heard that song before. Is it a lullaby or something?
そう子守歌
Yeah, it's a lullaby.
ママが歌って聞かせてくれたの
My mom used to sing it to me. So, her mom used to sing it to her, but it's also the lullaby that the other kid, and Sarah were always sung. I mean, you could possibly be sung multiple, you know, you could have one lullaby shared among a group of people. That's not a debatable thing. It's just, why are we singing it when she's singing it?
じゃあココにとっての思い出の歌ってわけね
So, I guess that song has a lot of good memories for you.
うん
No.
違うの
No, it doesn't?
つい最近覚えたばっかりだから
No, I just learned this song.
そうなんだ
Oh, really? Wait. My mom used to sing it to me. I guess the song has a lot of good memories. No, it doesn't. I just learned this song. I don't understand that. The voices were coming from the kiosk. I went in. Oh, look at this! Oh, that's adorable. And look at the little dolphins in the background too. Everything about this picture is adorable. Hey.
クラナリどうしたの
Kurenari, what are you doing here? Oh, I just thought I'd see what you look like playing chicks. Yep, that was the reason I had gone searching for them and eventually wound up at the souvenir shop.
ひよこごっこだったらもうとっくに終わっちゃったよ
Oh, we finished playing that a while ago. What? Really?
ナッキュのひよこのモノマネすごーくうまくって
Naki was so good at it.
ここなんかよりもずーっとひよこっぽくって
Compared to me, she was so much more like a real chick.
ここびっくりしちゃった
I was just amazed.
やだーもうそんなにおだてないでよ
Oh, stop it. You're just trying to embarrass me with your compliments.
おだててなんかいないよ
It's true.
本当に上手だったんだもん
You were really, really good. You, who had seemed so against the game to begin with, was embarrassed when she was complimented. What on earth was going on? Had she actually enjoyed the game? Speaking from the standpoint of someone who had experienced it, the game Chicks did seem to possess a kind of ritualistic demonic charm that could subdue the human ability to be rational. It seemed to me that you might have been possessed by that charm. Oh well, that wasn't important. What was important was that I had somehow missed out on the historical moment when that was used performance. It was truly unfortunate. Darn it! I mentally clicked my tongue. So, what are you doing now?
見ればわかるでしょ
Isn't that obvious? Coco and you were sitting face to face on the carpet. Pippi had set his face on Coco's head. Between the two of them was a mountain of small, bead-like grains. A pen was stuck atop the mountain. A game of avalanche with a mountain of sand?
正解
That's right. Oh, that's right.
違うよナッキュ正解じゃないよ
No, Naku, that's not right.
え
What?
これは涙山崩し
This is a mountain of tears.
砂の山じゃなくて涙の山なんだから
It's a mountain of tears, not sand. A mountain of tears? I sat next to them and pinched a single grain from the mountain. Oh, I remember. Coco was throwing these into the puddle at the ruins yesterday. Clear, colorless grains, they were formed in the shape of a drop of water. Glass tears. No, they weren't made of glass. I could tell by touching them. You never told me what they were yesterday, did you? So I guess I'll try again. What are they?
人魚の涙だよ
They're mermaid tears. Mermaid tears? Coco closed her eyes and nodded. I don't care what you say, there's no way these are real mermaid tear drops.
あれあれ
Oh yeah? Saying that, you pointed to the display racks of the souvenir shop. Huh? I stood up and walked toward where you had pointed. The racks were packed with different kinds of merchandise. Among all the stuff, there was a corner with a line of old-looking ceramic bottles. I picked up one of the bottles and looked at it. It was slightly bigger than the size of my palm and heavier than I had imagined. It felt solid in my hand. Printed on the label was Mermaid Tears. I looked at the bottom of the bottle. There was a round stamp on it. Contents, candy. Ingredients, sugar, corn syrup, acidifier, flavoring. I shook the bottle. I heard a dry, crisp sound. Pulling out the cork top, I poured some out on my palm. I poured too much, and some of them spilled from my hand to the floor. The mermaid tears bounced on the carpet as if they were dancing. I see. Holding the bottle in my right hand and the teardrops in my left, I went back to where I had been sitting before and plopped myself down with a thud. So, these mermaid tears are just some kind of souvenir? Yep. Let's see. Mumbling myself, I popped all the teardrops from my left hand into my mouth. I chomped down on them hard. The melting sweetness spread in my mouth. These are good. It had been a long time since I tasted anything besides a tuna sandwich. I had heard somewhere before that eating sweets made people feel happy. And at that moment, I was enraptured by the sweetness in my mouth. Oh my gosh. You shouldn't have done that. I'm gonna tell on you. Why? Is it because I'm eating them for free? Well, you are too, Coco. No. That wasn't what I meant at all. You just ate the teardrops of a mermaid, didn't you, Takapion? Yeah, I did. And I'm gonna eat more. If you do that, you'll end up like the 800-year-old nun. Who's the what's the? The 800-year-old what? You and I looked at each other. You don't know the story of Yao Bikuni, the 800-year-old nun? Do you know what she's talking about, you? Nope, not a clue. Alright then, Coco-chan, I'll tell you the story of the 800-year-old nun. Oh, the dots. Oh, the nun dots. Hey, don't forget the applause. Clap, 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 clap. Okay, it starts like this. Once upon a time, there was a beautiful young girl. She was 17 years old and she loved camellia flowers. She also had a very handsome boyfriend. And he was about her same age. I think he was at least. Anyway, one day he gave her a camellia flower as a gift and said, "This flower is for you." Oh my, what a beautiful flower this is. Yeah, this flower sure is pretty, but you're even more beautiful. Even a million of these flowers wouldn't be as pretty as you. Aww. Oh, you're such a sweet talker, you. Hey, I'm not trying to flatter you. I'm just trying to tell you the truth. Oh, sweetheart. My love. They were so passionately in love that they could talk this way in public without being embarrassed about it. Oh, the dots. Oh, the dots. Well, one day...
娘っ子のパパさん、名前をゴンタくんと言いますが、このゴンタくんがブクブクと海の中に潜っていきました。
the girl's dad, his name was Gonta-kun, went diving into the ocean.
なんでそんなことをしたのかっていうと、実は海の中に住んでいるおっさんが
He did that because this old guy who lived in the ocean was like...
今度うちでパーティーやんだけどさ、ゴンタくんも来ないと招待したからなのでした。
Hey, Gonta-kun, I'm having a home party. Wanna come? And invited him to a party.
ゴンタくんのたどり着いた場所には、これまでに見たこともない立派なお屋敷が建っていました。
Gonta-kun arrived at the most gorgeous mansion he'd ever seen in his whole life.
中に入ると不思議と息をすることができました。
But strangely, he was able to breathe once he got inside.
いやー、よく来たね、ゴンタくん。おっさんのお出迎えです。
Oh, good to see you, Gonta-kun. The old guy welcomed him.
ゴンタくんは豪華なディナーをごちそうになり、楽しいひとときを過ごしました。
Gonta-kun had a homemade dinner and a wonderful time.
けれど、もう帰らなければならない時刻です。
But eventually, it came for him to go home.
ゴンタくんは言いました。悪いけどほら、そろそろ帰らねばなんねえだ。
Gonta-kun said, I'm real sorry, but I got to go home soon.
すると、海の中のおっさんは、なんだ、もう帰っちゃうの。残念だな。
The old man who lived under the ocean said, Huh? You're leaving so soon? That's too bad.
家で娘っ子が待ってんだ。近いうちにまた来るでよ。
My daughter's waiting for me at home. I'll come again sometime soon, okay?
そっか。じゃあこれ、お土産に持って帰ってよ。
Oh well, why don't you take this for a souvenir?
おっさんが手渡したものは、お酒を入れるようなとっくりでした。
The old man handed him a bottle of something that looked like alcohol.
なんだこれ。
What's this? asked Gonta-kun. I'm sorry, Coco, I'm investing in your story.
おっさんはニコニコと笑いながら答えました。
The old man answered with a big smile.
人魚の涙だよ。
It's mermaid tears. Oh, the dots. Oh, the dots.
ゴンタくんは家に帰ると、もらったお土産を戸棚の中にしまっておきました。
Gonta-kun went home and hid the souvenir in the cabinet.
で、数日後、事件が起こりました。
And a few days later, an incident took place.
ゴンタくんが家を留守にしてる間に、娘っ子がこっそりと戸棚を開けて、とっくりの中身を飲んじゃったのです。
While Gonta-kun wasn't home, his daughter secretly opened the cabinet and drank all the liquid in the bottle.
とっても美味しかったので、娘っ子はその液体をグビッグビッと全部飲み干してしまいました。
It was so delicious that the girl drank the whole thing up.
すると、
And
その時を境にして、娘っ子は一切年を取らなくなってしまいました。
after that, the girl stopped aging at all.
1年経ち、2年経ち、3年経ち、
A year had passed, then 2, and then 3.
5年経ち、10年経ち、20年経っても、娘っ子は美しい姿のままだったのです。
After 5, 10, and 20 years, the girl was still as beautiful as always. Sounds a lot like the curé.
決して老いることのない肉体を娘っ子は手に入れてしまったのでした。
She had a body that would never age. Oh, the dots. Oh, the enraptured
い
dots.
つの時代も不老長寿は人類の夢であり希望ですが、この娘っ子の場合は違いました。
Eternal youth and longevity has always been a dream and a hope for humans, but it wasn't the case for this girl.
娘っ子は我が身の不幸を嘆き呪いました。
She lamented and cursed her own fate.
なぜなら大好きだった彼氏さんはどんどん年を取っていくのに、自分は17歳のまま少しも成長しなかったからです。
Because she stayed at the age of 17, but her boyfriend grew older and older.
しばらくしてさらに悲しい出来事が娘っ子を襲いました。
One day, an incident happened that was very sad.
彼氏さんが34歳という若さでこの世を去ってしまったのです。
Her boyfriend passed from this world to the next at the tender age of 34.
亡くなる間際、彼氏さんは娘っ子にこう言いました。
And before he died, he said to her,
700年待ってくれ。700年後、再びこの世に生まれ変わり、必ず君のところへ行くから。
Wait for me for 700 years. After 700 years have passed, I'll be reborn into this world and come to you.
娘っ子は泣きました。おいおいおいおいと泣き続けました。
The girl cried and cried. Boy, did she just cry and cry.
やがて、彼氏さんを失った悲しみから、娘っ子はビクニとなり、諸国暗夜の旅へと出かけることにしました。
And after a while, because she was so sad at losing him, she decided to leave on a long trip.
ビクニというのは、出家した二層、女性のお坊さんのことです。
She renounced the material world and decided to live her life as a nun. Oh, the dots. Oh, the double
ビ
dots.
クニは国々を巡って病気の人を治し、貧しい人を助け、田畑を耕し、川に橋を架け、行く先々で椿の種をまきました。
The nun traveled around the country. She cured the sick, helped the poor, did a little farming, built some bridges over rivers, and planted lots of camellia seeds.
椿がすくすくと成長し、花を咲かせる頃になると、また別の国へと移って行き、困っている人々を助け、
When the camellias grew mature, healthy, and started to flower, she would move on to another region and began all over again helping those in need.
そんなことを何百年も続けました。
She continued living that way for hundreds of years.
椿の種をまいたのは、彼氏さんの道しるべにするためです。
The reason she planted camellia seeds was as a way of giving directions to her boyfriend in case he came looking for her.
彼氏さんがこの世に生まれ変わってきたとき、自分の居場所がわかるように、ビクニは種をまいたのでした。
She planted lots and lots of camellia seeds so that when he was reborn into this world, he would know where she was.
ビクニは諦めていませんでした。
She hadn't given up hope.
彼氏さんの言葉をずっと信じ続けていたのです。
She had kept believing the whole time that her boyfriend's words would come true.
そしてついに700年が経ち、ビクニは生まれ故郷に戻りました。
At last, 700 years passed and she returned to her homeland.
けれども、ふるさとの村にビクニの知っている人は一人もいません。
But there wasn't anyone who knew her anymore.
仕方なく、ビクニは村外れの洞窟へ入ることにしました。
With no place to live, she decided to enter a cave on the outskirts of the village.
その入り口近くに椿の種をたくさんまきました。
She planted many camellia seeds near the entrance.
洞窟に入る前、ビクニは村人にこんなことを言いました。
Before she entered the cave, she told the villagers,
日の出と日没の頃に私は鈴を鳴らします。
I will ring a bell at sunrise and sunset.
この鈴の音が聞こえなくなったら、私は亡くなったと思ってください。
If you stop hearing the bell, please just think that I have passed away. Oh, the dots. Oh, the double
そ
dots.
れから1年経ち、2年経ち、3年経ち、
A year passed, then 2 and 3.
5年経ち、10年経ち、20年経っても彼氏さんはやってきませんでした。
After 5, 10, and then 20 years, her boyfriend still hadn't showed up.
30年経ち、40年経ち、50年経ち、
30 years passed, then 40, and then 50 years passed.
60年経ち、70年経ち、80年経ってもやっぱり彼氏さんはやってきませんでした。
After 60, 70, 80 years had passed, her boyfriend still hadn't shown up.
ビクニが生まれてから800年の年月が流れました。
800 years had passed since she was born.
鈴の音が聞こえなくなりました。
The bell finally stopped ringing.
とうとう最後まで彼氏さんが姿を現すことはありませんでした。
And after all that time, her boyfriend had never appeared.
洞窟の前の椿は美しく咲き誇り、その後何年もの間散ることはなかったと言います。
The camellias in front of the cave blossomed beautifully, never wilting for many years.
人々はいつまでも若く美しかったビクニのことを尊び、祈りを捧げ、
People honored this young and beautiful nun and prayed for her.
健康で明るく長生きできるように願いを込めて
And wish for longevity and happiness.
彼女のことをヤオビクニと呼ぶようになったとさ。
And people decided to call it Yao Bikuni, the 800-year-old nun.
おしまい。
The end. Oh, that's a tragic story, Dots. Oh, he never came back, Dots.
じゃなかった。続く。
Oh, not really. It's to be continued.
Huh?
Huh? There's more?
ココの知ってるお話はこれで終わりなんだけどね。
Well, actually, that's the end for the tale, I know.
ひょっとしたらまだ続きがあるかもしれないし。
But, you know, there might be more to the tale.
どういうこと？
What do you mean?
結局、ヤオビクニさんの遺体は誰も確認してないんだよ。
Well, nobody actually found her body.
鈴の音が聞こえなくなったから死んじゃったんじゃないかって思っただけで。
It just figured that she was dead because the bell stopped ringing.
もしかしたら日本のどこかの洞窟でまだヤオビクニさんは生き続けているのかもしれない。
Maybe she's still alive in a cave somewhere in Japan, you know?
未だに彼氏さんのことを待ってると。
Still waiting for a boyfriend? Hey, stupid. There's no way that story is true. It's just an old fairy tale, that's all.
そうかな。
I don't know.
ここはほんのちょびっとだけだけど生きてるような気がするんだけどな。
I think she might still be alive somewhere.
私もそう思う。
Yeah, me too. Oh, come on. Are you guys serious?
ねえココ、ヤオビクニっていつ生まれたの？
Hey, Coco, when was this nun born anyway?
詳しくは知らないんだけど今から1300年くらい前だって聞いたことがある。
I don't know exactly, but I've heard it was about 1300 years ago. Haha, you see? 1300 years ago. She was still alive, she'd be 1300 years old. But still looking 17? Ever 17?
当たり前のこと言わないでよ。
Look, you don't have to inform us of the obvious. Let me put it this way. 1300 years from now, she would be like 700 AD, which means she would have been living since the Nera era, or before that. But that would amaze even Prince Nakano Oi.
何ムキになってるのよ。
What are you so worked up about?
ただの昔話だって言ったのはクラナリじゃない。
You're the one who said it was just an old story, Kiranari. I'm not worked up.
もうクラナリもいい加減大人なんだからさ。わかるでしょ？
You're old enough to know what I'm talking about.
少女の夢をむやみに壊すんじゃないの。
Don't break girls' romantic dreams for no good reason.
ねえココ。
Right, Coco? Yeah. Oh, the duds.
ヤオビクニが700歳で洞窟に入ったってことはそれから600年間もひたすら彼氏さんを待ち続けてたってことになるよね。
She entered the cave at the age of 700, so that means she waited for a boyfriend another 600 years, right?
あ、今でも生きてるかもしれないから待ち続けてる。現在進行形か。
Oh, but she might still be alive, so that makes it she is waiting as in the present tense.
とにかく
Anyway,
彼氏さんが椿の花を追い求めてようやく洞窟の淵へとたどり着いたその時
when a boyfriend finally arrives at the entrance of the cave, which is overflowing with camellia flowers,
運命の再会が訪れるわけよ。
they will finally be reunited,
600年間の孤独が報われるわけよ。
and the extra 600 years of loneliness will be rewarded.
1300年間の恋が実るわけよ。
Their 1300-year-old love will be fulfilled.
なんてロマンチックなんでしょう。
Oh, how romantic. This reminds me a lot of Doctor Who, the Pawns, Rory waiting all that time for Amy. It's got a similar mythological story behind it.
ロマンチックか。
Romantic, huh?
ここはロマンチックっていうよりもちょっぴり
I
悲しい
think
気
it
がするな。
I think it's more sad than romantic. Huh? Yeah, because he never came back, right?
だってさ、
Well, I mean,
暗い洞窟の奥で
she's been waiting in this deep dark cave?
ずっと
just waiting for a boyfriend for the longest time, you know?
一人ぼっちで待ってるんだよ。
She's been all alone.
寂しくて寂しくて寂しくて。
So alone and so lonely.
だけど死んじゃうこともできなくて。
But she couldn't die either.
人魚の涙なんて飲まなければよかったのに。
I wish she never drank those mermaid tears. Oh, the dots. Oh, the double dots. Oh, the triple dots. Oh, the quadruple dots. Alright, a lot of dots. Yeah, hey, Coco. Huh? Do you believe that mermaids actually exist?
またそうやって夢のないことを言う。
Jeez, there you go again. You're too practical. Well, if mermaids don't exist, then you can forget about the whole story to begin with.
そんなことないよ。
Well, that's not necessarily true.
人魚がいてもいなくても話の信憑性とは何の関係もないと思う。
Whether mermaids exist or not doesn't have anything to do with whether or not the story is true. Why not?
ゴンタ君のもらったとっくりには誰が何と言おうと不老長寿の液体が入ってたの。
Well, it's obvious that the liquid Gotakun got from the old man was longevity potion. I don't care what you say.
それを誰かが勝手に人魚の涙って命名しただけかもしれないでしょ。
They could have just named it Mermaid Tears, right?
つまり不老長寿の液体が実際の人魚の涙である必要はないってこと。
What I'm trying to say is that the potion didn't actually have to be made from mermaid teardrops.
例えばここに積まれてるキャンディーの山が実際の人魚の涙じゃないのと同じようにね。
I mean, these candies aren't actual mermaid teardrops. Well, you do have a point. So, mermaid tears is only the name for that strange liquid, right? Alright, fine. Let's skip the whole mermaid business. But you, think really hard, will you? Do you honestly think that something like eternal youth exists?
思う。
I do. You have a basis for that belief?
ある。
Yes. Okay, well then show me then.
望むところよ。
Okay, I'll show you. Oh, the dots.
ちょっと話はそれるけど今の曜日国の話何かに似てると思わない？
This is a little off topic, but doesn't the story of Yao Bikini remind you of something else? Huh?
浦島太郎だよ。
I'm talking about the tale of Rip Van Winkle. Yeah, except Rip Van Winkle slept. Rip Van...
太郎？
Winkle?
海の中へと招待されて立派な屋敷がそこには立ってて豪華なディナーをご馳走されて帰りがけにはおみよをもらう。
Well, the father got invited to a party and got some kind of alcoholic beverage, right?
ここのとこなんかもうそっくりそのまま浦島太郎じゃない。
That's just like Rip Van Winkle. So what?
だから要するにこういうこと。
What I'm trying to say is this.
浦島太郎は玉手箱を開けたことによっておじいさんになっちゃったでしょ。
Rip Van Winkle drank the liquor and became a very old man, right?
八尾ビクには人魚の涙を飲んだことによって不老長寿の肉体を手に入れた。
Yao Bikuni drank the mermaid tears and gained a body of perpetual youth that never ages.
ということはですな。
And that means that... Oh, I'm beginning to see what you're trying to say. Rip Van Winkle hits the bottle just a little too hard, and when he wakes up, 20 years have passed. Just like with the 800-year-old nun. By drinking mermaid tears, she was sent on 700, 800 years in the future. So she didn't actually gain eternal youth, she just slipped through time into the future. So that explains why she stayed 17 years old even after 800 years. Yeah, but it doesn't explain how she was able to go from place to place, planting flowers and building bridges. You think that explains it? Well, it doesn't. There's no such thing as time travel in real life.
ちょっと待って。話を勝手に進めないでよ。
Hey, wait a second. Don't go jumping to conclusions.
私は一言もタイムスリップなんて言ってないでしょ。
I never said a word about time travel, did I? Oh, the dots. Oh, the dots.
私が言いたいのは玉手箱と人魚の涙との類似性というか相関関係というかそういったものについてなの。
I'm just curious about the similarity between the dwarven spirits and mermaid tears.
玉手箱の中に詰め込まれていたものは生物の老化を急速に促進する作用を持った気体だった。
The dwarven liquor was actually a solution that rapidly accelerates aging.
とっくりの中に詰め込まれていたものは生物の老化を極限まで抑制する作用を持った液
What was in the tears was a solution that slows down aging.
そしてこの2つは共に海中に生息している何者かによって手渡された。
Both of them were handed down from some old guy.
さらにこれらを手渡した人物は海底に建造されたゴージャスな宮殿のような場所に住んでいた。
And both of them were given at a mysterious gathering.
ということは
So it tells us.
玉手箱の煙も人魚の涙も同一人物の手によって
Both dwarven spirits and mermaid
あ
tears.
るいは同一の文明によって製造された可能性が極めて高いということになるでしょう。
Are possibly made by the same people or by the same civilization. It tells us that.
なるの。
It does. All the dots.
もしかしたらその宮殿は海底に沈んだ超古代文明の遺跡の一部だったのかもしれないよね。
Well, the castle in Coco's story might have been part of some remains of ruins of an ancient civilization sunken under the ocean. Are you talking about Lemuria?
例えばレムリア文明とか。
For example, the civilization of Lemuria. Yep.
レムリア文明には老化をコントロールできちゃうような科学技術があって。
And Lemuria, it's thought that they had science and technology that could control aging.
浦島太郎もゴンタ君も何らかの事情によって特別にその宮殿へと招かれることになったんだよ。
And for some reason, Gota-kun got invited to the castle.
うんうん。
Uh-huh. All the dots. All the
どう
dots.
納得した？
So, are you satisfied? I think that was a pretty random explanation, but that's okay, I guess. I got your point. But you still haven't given me any substantial evidence that eternal youth exists. The point of what you just said was basically this. Rip Van Winkle and the 800-year-old nun's dad must have been made contact with the lost civilization of Lemuria. Alright then, let's just suppose this assumption was correct. Even if the civilization of Lemuria actually did exist, nobody knows if they had the technology to control aging, right? There's no way you can prove it. Besides, Lemuria never did and never will exist. Sklatter's theory was disproven a long time ago.
スクレーターって何？
What's Sklatter? It's the name of an English zoologist. In the mid-19th century he noticed that the same species of lemur inhabited Africa, Madagascar Islands, Asia, and the Indonesian islands. But lemurs can't swim. Well, maybe just a little, but certainly not a long distance. Well then, how could these same kind of lemurs reside on different islands separated by a massive ocean? Sklatter thought. That's it! A long time ago, there must have been a great landmass in the Indian Ocean, and these islands must have been connected as one. But by the mid-20th century, the theory of continental drift had been proven, and Sklatter's theory was ignored after that. A long time ago, all the land on Earth today formed one big continent, which very slowly got broken up, and the continents shifted with the movement of the Earth's crust, or by virtue of plate tectonics to become the way they are today. To be precise, the land masses are still moving even today by several centimeters every year. The theory of continental drift was now known to be fact rather than just theory. So the reason why lemurs exist on different islands can be explained by this theory. So there, you see, there is no such thing as Lemuria. If there's no Lemuria, there couldn't be a Lemurian civilization.
あ、そう。
Oh really?
うーん。
You don't say. Oh, uh-oh, I just put my foot in my mouth and now she's gonna shove it down my throat, Dots. Oh, uh-oh, you're in trouble, Dots.
悪いけど、私が言ったのは太平洋のレムリア大陸のことなんだよね。
Well, sorry to cut you off when you're just getting started, but the Lemuria I was referring to was in the Pacific Ocean.
日本の浦島太郎がどうしてわざわざマラッカ海峡を渡ってインド洋まで行かなきゃいけないのよ。
Why would a Japanese person like Gota-kun go all the way over to the Strait of Malacca, then to the Indian Ocean?
レムリア大陸は太平洋にあったの。
Lemuria was located in the Pacific Ocean. In the Pacific Ocean? Are you by any chance talking about the continent of Mew?
呼び方なんてどうでもいいのよ。
It doesn't matter what you call it.
かつて太平洋上には超古代文明が存在した。
There used to be an ancient civilization in the Pacific before recorded history.
それをある人はレムリア文明と呼び、ある人はムー文明と呼ぶ。そんなことどっちだっていいじゃない。
Some people call it Lemuria, others call it Mew. It doesn't really matter, does it? I've not heard of Mew. Is that a fiction made for the game, or is that an actual legend? Oh, I'm getting a headache. I guess you're right, it doesn't matter, it really doesn't. Whether you call it Lemuria or Mew, it never existed anyway.
どうしてそう夢のないこと言うかな。
Why do you have to be so serious?
大人げない。
It's so childish.
クラナリには想像力ってもんがないの？
Don't you have any imagination, Kunari? You're the one who's childish. You're 18, right? Grow up, will you? Get real. An ancient civilization before time, perpetual youth and longevity, Rip Van Winkle, 800-year-old nun, and Santa Claus. None of these exist. They're all just fairy tales.
おとぎ話のすべてが虚構とは限らないでしょ？
Not all fairy tales are fiction.
中には実話だってあるかもしれないじゃない。
And some of them may be real. No way.
ある。
Yes way.
少なくとも浦島太郎だけは絶対確実完全無欠に実話だと思う。
Well, I, for one, believe Rip Van Winkle really existed. Oh, you're so sure, huh? Do you have any proof, do you?
もちろん。
Of course. Oh, well, then let's see it.
望むところよ。
Okay, I'll show you. All the dots.
浦島太郎はね。
Rip Van Winkle was... what?
浦島太郎は。浦島太郎は。
Rip Van Winkle was... Rip Van Winkle was... Huh?
浦島太郎。
What's happening with you? Suddenly, you put a hand on her chest and seem to be suffering. What's wrong?
大丈夫？ナッキュ。
Hey, are you okay, Naku? Is this TP?
平気。
I'm okay.
妻のことだから。
It happens all the time. What do you mean all the time? Yu's face had gone pale. Her lips were almost purple and sweat began to rain down her forehead. She grabbed her chest with the right hand. She groaned in a low voice and squatted to the floor. She jabbed her left hand into the mountain of tears. The mermaid tears scattered everywhere and the pen on top flew in the air.
大丈夫。だから。
I'll be alright. She didn't seem alright at all. Her breathing was fast, and her body was stiff and shaking, her facial color almost seeming like that of a corpse. What should we do? Should I leave you here and call for help? No, we don't have any time to lose. To the infirmary. I've got to take her to the infirmary. Coco, I'm gonna carry you to the infirmary. So you go ahead and tell everybody what's going on. Okay, I will. I carried you on my back and jumped out of the kiosk. The infirmary was close, so I could get there in less than a minute if I ran. Before I could think, my feet had already started moving. I kept running in silence. The infirmary was near. Hey, Kiranari, you whispered into my ear in a small voice. Rip Van Winkle was... He really... No, I want to know what happened! No, I want to know what happened! Rip Van Winkle did exist. I screamed out. You're so silly. Wait, so you in this universe doesn't believe Rip Van Winkle existed, but did in the other? I was going to say maybe they're opposites, but I'm pretty sure they both believe in Lemuria, right? So they can't be opposites. It's just a fairy tale. Look, not all fairy tales are fiction. God, it's so weird. That doesn't mean that Rip Van Winkle actually existed, does it? Besides, even if the tale of Rip Van Winkle was real, that has nothing to do with you, kid. It does too. We're talking about whether people could actually travel through time, right? That's what I mean, don't you get it?
タイムスリップが現実に起こるものだとしても、少年がタイムスリップしたことにはならないって言ってるの。
I'm saying that even if someone could actually travel through time, that doesn't necessarily mean that you did. Well, then how come I can see the future?
そんなこと私に聞かれてもわからないってば。
Don't ask me, how should I know? It has to be because I'm experiencing the same moments in time over and over again. And I must have been stuck in the Mew in the past also. 3 days passed, and then 4, and then 5 days, and after that, I must have slipped through time for some reason. Meaning, I must have traveled back in time to the moment I fell into that pond. That must be why I can look into the future. No, I mean, I must be remembering things I've already experienced in the past instead of looking into the future to be exact. I don't know how, but I'm probably carrying memories of the past.
じゃあそうなんじゃない？
Really? Well, that must be it then. Oh, come on. I'm being serious here.
悪いけどね。私にはもっと切実で深刻な問題があるの。
I'm sorry, but I've got far more serious, urgent problems.
考えなきゃいけないことが山ほどあるの。
I got tons of things to think about.
知ってるでしょ、少年だって。
You know what I'm talking about, kid? All the dots.
理由はともかくとして、少年は予知をすることができる。
I don't know what the reason is, but you can predict the future.
いいじゃない。別に予知ができたって。
So what?
あって困るような特殊能力でもないし、むしろあった方が便利だと思うけど。
It's not like it's a bad ability to have. As a matter of fact, I can imagine that it would really come in handy. You make it sound so simple, but in my case, I don't think it's the ability to see through the future. I'm pretty sure I travel through time. I might even be repeating the same moments in history over and over again. And what's more, I'm pretty sure the amnesia has something to do with the time travel.
もう何回言わせれば気が済むのよ。
Look, how many times do I have to tell you?
タイムスリップなんてものは絶対に不可能なんだってば。
Time travel is not possible.
それから記憶喪失のことだけど、時間が経てば必ず元通りになるの。
And as far as your amnesia, I'm sure you'll be gaining memories in time.
実際もう思い出しかけてるじゃない。
You're already beginning to remember things, right?
っていうか、ほとんど思い出してるんでしょ？
I mean, you've actually remembered most everything, haven't you? Not everything. I just remembered things about Sarah. Just childhood memories. I still don't have any memories from the last few years. I have no idea how I got to Lemieux, why, or with whom. I still don't remember anything before May 1st, the day I came to Lemieux. Where I was, what I was doing, or who I am.
ちょっと待って。
Well, wait a second.
少年はマヨのお兄ちゃんなんだよね。そのことはちゃんと思い出したんだよね。
You're Maya's brother, right? You do remember that, don't you? Yeah.
だったらさすがに自分が誰なのかぐらいわかるはずじゃない。
So you have to at least know who you are. But I don't. How can I explain this? If someone were to ask me, who are you? All I could say is, I'm Matsunaga, Sarah's brother. I don't know any other way to answer. Then all of a sudden, you raised your voice and pointed a finger at me.
そういえば大事なこと聞き忘れてた。
Oh, that reminds me. I keep forgetting to ask you something important. Something important?
名前よ、名前。
Name, your name.
少年のまへ。
Your name, kid. All the dots.
マヨから聞いたんでしょ？
Maya told you, didn't she? All the... Did she dots?
聞いたんだよね。
You did ask her, didn't you? All the... Did we dots?
聞いてないの？
You haven't asked her your name? No, I haven't. You shook her head, looked up at the ceiling, and chewed on her lips. She clenched her fist, went to shake it into the air, then rethought it and pulled it back down. You then proceeded to stop her hand in a puddle of water. She crouched down and hopped up swiftly. She took a deep breath. I thought she was going to exhale, but she continued to take one long breath in. And then she said,
あんたバカじゃないの？
Are you stupid or what? Her voice was so loud it shook Lemieux like an earthquake, including my screen. Oh, it was a bit frightening that would tear the partition walls.
どうして真っ先に自分の名前を聞かないのよ？
That's the first thing you should ask her before anything else? Well, you probably wouldn't understand this, but Sarah and I had so much else to talk about. We had endless things to talk about, and I just didn't have the presence of mind or chance to think about it myself. For us, the first priority was to regain the time we had lost. And to be honest, I couldn't care less about my name. Listen, kid, just think about it. It's your own name, aren't you curious to know? Well, now that you brought it up, I'm starting to wonder. When I was talking to Sarah, it didn't even pass through my mind. You sighed with an exaggerated gesture. Well, just put yourself in our position, you. Sarah and I saw each other for the first time in 9 years. We were just so happy, caught up in memories. But on the other hand, we were scared, in pain, and our hearts ached. All those emotions were mixed up and jumbled together and came flooding over us. Sarah and I were overwhelmed just trying to understand one another. Like I said, names didn't seem so important at that time. She just called me Oni-chan, and I just wanted to call her Sarah. Do you understand? No, not at all. You said that and started to walk off. Hey, wait a second, where are you going? Splashing water, you walk down the long straight corridor. She's going to find, Sarah, of course. I tagged along beside her and asked her again. Hey, where are you going? I'm going to ask Mayo, obviously. Wait, what? Well, hello, your name, of course, kid. Look, you don't have to do that. Huh? Why not? All the dots. What you've been saying doesn't make sense. Don't you want to regain your full memory? Don't you want to know who you are? Yeah, of course I do, but... Well then, instead of talking about stupid, outrageous things like seeing the future or time travel, don't you think it'd just be faster to ask Mayo? I thought back briefly to the sight of myself in that mirror. I had been so confused at that time because my face didn't look like my face. If the same thing happened when Sarah told me my name, I was afraid that I might feel like my name wasn't really my name and end up all confused again. Yeah, I understand that. To tell the truth, it was a bit scary. Besides, is a name really all that important? What? Look, names are just things people give themselves to make identifying one another more convenient. It's just for convenience, so while living without a name certainly has its own challenges, I don't think the name is an absolute necessity. And yet, she struggles with her name, right? She didn't want to tell people her full name in this dimension. But in the other dimension, she has no problem telling people her name. Take dolphins. They're highly intelligent creatures, but they don't go around calling one another by name. And they seem to be getting along just fine. They seem to be able to identify one dolphin from the others too. They know which one is the son, which one is a wife, and the difference between a gray whale and a killer whale. They don't have names, yet they can recognize things correctly. And this is just speculation, but they seem to recognize individual identities. A dolphin seems to have its own sense of self, separate from that of the dolphin swimming next to it, and it's aware that it's a separate entity. They don't have to depend on names to recognize all these things. My name is James, this one next to me is Ling Ling, and that one chasing after a fish is Yumemi. I don't think they do that. It may sound kind of cocky, but sometimes I feel humans depend on names too much. If one day this girl like you've known as Ling Ling tells you, oh by the way, my name is Lang Lang, wouldn't you throw that off? Wouldn't that throw you off? It'll cause confusion and you might think, you know, Ling Ling and Lang Lang are really similar, but they're probably just two different people. It seems stupid to get confused just because of a name. Meaning people value, trust, and depend on names more than the actual individual differences. I bet dolphins don't think like that. Because to begin with, they don't have names to identify individuals. All the dots. I realized that for the first time once I lost my name. I noticed that name really isn't all that important. You didn't stop walking. I couldn't tell whether she was listening to me or not because she didn't respond to me at all. Hey, are you listening to me? As we turned around a corner, I asked her. Yep, I'm listening. I've been thinking about what you were just saying. Huh?
確かに少年の言ってることもわかるような気がするの。
I feel like I understand what you mean.
特に私は自分の名前にコンプレックスを持ってるから、そういうこと結構今までいろいろと考えてきたんだよね。
You know, I've had a complex about my name for a long time, and I've actually thought about quite a lot about this issue. Complex?
うん。
Yeah. You don't like your own name, you?
嫌いよ、もちろん。
Of course I don't. Why?
恥ずかしいから。
I'm embarrassed about it.
この世の中には自己紹介なんていう伝統的な風習があるでしょ。
People introduce themselves to one another when they meet, right?
私クラス替えのたびに憂鬱で憂鬱で仕方なくて。
Every time a new year at school would start, I would just cringe. Oh. I murmured. I remember you said something about your full name being much longer, right?
うん。
Yeah. Well, would that have something to do with the fact that you don't like your name?
関係があるっていうか、それこそが直接の原因。
Something to do with it? That's why I don't like it. You stopped walking. She had a bitter smile on her face.
知りたい？
Do you want to know? What?
君にはまだ教えてなかったもんね。
I still haven't told you my full name yet. I guess.
絶対笑わないって誓ってくれる？
Will you promise that you won't laugh? Sure.
それじゃあ教えてあげよう。
Okay, I'll tell you.
私の本名は
My name is...
田中優美生秋かな。
Huh?
優しく美しく清らかな秋香る菜の花。
It means gentle, beautiful, pure autumn, fragrant green blossom. Huh? You would say Aki Kana? Suddenly it was as if I felt a heavy thud in the bottom of my heart. A strange feeling started to take over my body. A sense of something out of place. That was it. That was right. I must have known Yu's real name. Wait, but I never heard it from you directly. What was going on? It was like the situation with Sarah. I already knew Yu's real name from before. Yu's real name was... Your real name is... Yubisei Harukana.
Huh?
What? You said it wrong, didn't you? You actually meant to say Harukana, right?
自分の名前を言い間違える人なんていないと思うけど。
Look, I don't think I'd say my own name incorrectly.
まあ、私としては春でも秋でもどっちでもいいんだけどね。
Well, Haru or Aki, either one is fine with me.
でも一応戸籍上は秋になってるわけだし。
But on the birth certificate, it says Aki. No.
おへ？
What? Your full name has to be Yubisei Harukana. It's not Aki. What are you laughing about? This isn't funny at all. You don't remember your own name?
そうかもね。
Yeah, that just may be it.
私の本当の名前はリンリンだったっけ？それともランランだったっけな。
My real name is... Oh, was it Ling Ling? No, wait, maybe it was Lang Lang. Oh, the dots.
あのね、少年。よく聞いてね。
Kid, listen up.
私の名前は優美生秋かな。
My name is Yubisei Akikana.
生まれた時からそうだったし、これからもずっとこの名前を背負って生き続けていくんだと思う。
It's been that way since I was born, and it will be that way as long as I live.
いい？
You got it?
春でも夏でも冬でもなくて秋なの。
It's neither Haru, nor Natsu, nor Fuyu, not Aki.
なんでか知ってる？
Do you know why? All the dots.
私は今から18年と7ヶ月前に生まれたの。
I was born 18 years and 7 months ago.
正確に言うと7ヶ月とちょっとだよね。
A little more than 7 months to be exact.
誕生日は9月22日。
My birthday is September 22nd.
出生地は日本。
I was born in Japan.
別に南半球で生まれたわけじゃないんだよ。
And I wasn't born in the southern hemisphere.
9月って日本では春だっけ？
Let's see, is September spring in Japan?
秋だよね。
No, it's autumn, isn't it?
だから私は秋かななの。わかった？
So my name is Akikana, you got that? I was already starting to lose my sense of reality. A bottomless fear crept up from the bottom of my stomach and threatened to leap out of my throat. So, in the other dimension, the world is flipped on its axis. So Japan is now in the southern hemisphere, which would make her Haru instead of Aki? Is that what they're trying to get at? I do know that the equator controls the seasons. So everything above the equator has an opposite season compared to everything below the equator. So when it's winter in the north, it's summer in the south, you know, and vice versa. But is that what they're trying to get at, where the dimensions are flipped in some way? My head started to ache. And then I glanced as I put my hand on my temple. Splashing water in all directions, Sarah came toward us. Good timing. Good timing? Sarah stood in front of us, tilting her head quizzically. Actually, I had a question for you, Mayo. What is it? The kid's name? Will you tell me his real name? You put her hand over my shoulder. I knew her hand was touching my shoulder, but I couldn't feel it. I was dizzy and about to faint. I thought to myself, this will probably be a lot easier if I just faint. But both my feet stood soundly on the floor and I braced myself. I looked at Sarah. Sarah's mouth opened up like an empty hollow. What? 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 I couldn't hear her voice. I saw Sarah's lips were moving, but I couldn't hear her voice for some reason. What is going on? I couldn't hear Yu's voice either. All I could hear was just the sound of my blood flowing through my ears. And in that moment, my sight crashed into pieces. The scenery before me was stripped of all color. A voice, a voice, a voice. I could hear a voice from afar. From faraway darkness. Somebody whispering to me. Who are you? Who am I? Who am I? Hokuto. Your name is Hokuto. Hokuto, huh? So that's what he's called. Now that you mention it, he does kind of look like a Hokuto to me. Hokuto. That is my name? That's right, Oni-chan. Hokuto. 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 I repeated it loudly over and over again. My hunch had been right. I had never heard the name Hokuto before. Hokuto, that couldn't possibly be my name. It didn't feel real to me at all. But Sarah wouldn't lie to me. So I figured it must be my name. Hokuto. 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 Name. Yu's name was Yubise Akikana. My name was Hokuto. There was too much to think about. I felt I was close to my mental limit. I was dizzy. My head ached. I looked at my palm. I had 5 fingers. Everything seemed out of place to me. I still couldn't regain the real me. Is this me who's looking at my palm, or is it somebody that isn't me? Is Hokuto really me, or is it me who's not Hokuto? Hokuto. Is it really? Is that really his name? So now we're with Chammy and Tsugumi, and realizing I'm way past an hour, but I'm sorry, when you get invested in something, it's hard to stop sometimes. I love you all so very much. Thank you for everything, and yeah. Until next time, so long, and take care. Thank you for watching this video. Feel free to comment on what you saw and what you would like to see next. I always love to hear your thoughts. Please be sure to like and subscribe for more. Also, please do not forget, you matter. You are brilliant and you are loved. And you should always remember to be true to yourself. Don't let the world tell you any different. Much love to you from your friendly feathered flightless bird. Till next time.